Hey guys, welcome back to the Jeep Journals, where I continue to tell you about the ongoing situation of continuous high temperatures and very little rain. Well, what does that mean for you and I? Might not mean anything, because for the most part, within the community that I am a part of, which is a nationwide community, for the most part, we can turn on water and we're not able to set it on fire. That doesn't mean that every part of this nation is like that. I apologize if you're experiencing difficulties with receiving clean water. Obviously, that should be something that is beneficial to all of humanity. And so when we think about this, let's think globally and understand not everyone has clean water. So the same goes for our wild counterparts who are out there in nature not able to receive water because it hasn't rained. And so what does that mean to you and I? Well, we're part of this food chain, and so eventually we're going to run into a situation where we also will face some decisions that we have to make, whether we're helping one another out anymore. And maybe we can start by determining whether or not we're going to help out the wildlife. So right now I'm going to show you a bird nest that was pulled down. It's a bird house, actually, that was pulled down. It was affixed to a tree with, I don't know, 5 screws. And something heavy got onto the birdhouse and got it into its mind that it was going to tear it down and eat whatever was in it. So there's 2 tragic things here. I'm not going to open the birdhouse yet. I don't know if there's something in there still. I want to give the bird parents a chance to grieve and to do whatever they need to do. But whether or not there are survivors inside of this nest, I want you to pay attention to the things that we find on the debris or the nesting materials that were pulled out by whatever pulled this nest off the tree, pulled this birdhouse off the tree. So pay attention with me and tell me if you see anything usual or unusual when it comes to what you thought a bird's nest was built with, or a bird's home was built with. Check it out. Black plastic. More black plastic. Blue paper or plastic of some kind. More plastic. More. This one's clear plastic. A wrapper of some sort, part of the same wrapper. Purple plastic, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, what else? Another wrapper of some sort. Orange red plastic that was frayed. Black plastic. If you look in there, there's string. Cloth. Plastic. 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 Look at this. And so the story continues. Basically, what I'm trying to do is show you when things get hungry, they start to invade the properties of others to obtain the nourishment that they were seeking. And sometimes, without going so far as to say that we might all kind of revisit our animalistic natures, sometimes the things that come in the night will literally come to prey on our babies. So, I mean, I'm kind of laughing. This is a serious matter, but I'm also telling you a story of wellness and conservation on this page, right? So a lot of the things you're seeing are clips of nature and a bunch of what you might consider babbling or random talk, things that you wouldn't necessarily show your husbands, for an example, if you're married, you know. And the reason I say that is because if you're in a household that's dominated by an entity that doesn't really care about the babies of a nest that happens to be in a house that's not your own, then you're probably not going to go out of your way to share the insights that are common for what it is that we're observing in the wild. What I'm observing in the wild, I just showed you. This is, I mean, it's outside and it's in a residential area. But look at this plastic. Did you hear the hummingbird flying over? I don't know if you could hear it. I'm sure I could hear it. And in the video where I watched the hummingbirds flying around in Big Bend, in fact, you might be able to, I can see the feeder in the screen if I look in the screen, but the focus of this conversation is not to babble and to bore you to submission, bore you into submission. What I'm attempting to do is to re-energize what it is that you think about when you think about wellness and conservation. You might not think about your neighbors in the same community or in a different community for you, but if you do think about your neighbors, what I'd like to do is to ask you for a favor. Pray for the animals that are out here that are hungry. Pray for the people who are out here who are hungry. Pray for each other. And hopefully, as we continue to recite in our minds that we are wanting to be compassionate towards those that have suffered any misfortune, or even in a way to where we mitigate the suffering and misfortune of others, as we continue to recite these things in our minds, the mantras, you know, let's call it the Lord's Prayer, or any prayer that you have of kindness and well-being and truth and peace, then perhaps we will begin to heal our lands so that we don't need to build our nests out of rubbish that can literally choke our children who are just trying to have a chance in this world that our fathers have sometimes overlooked. So until next time, thank you so much for listening along, and please don't forget to click on subscribe and possibly share this if it resonates with you. It should resonate with you. There are some people who want me to get Master Naturalist certified in order to talk about wildlife, and in order to talk about wildlife among my peers who already understand that I know what I'm talking about. I am able to see the wildlife that I'm observing and study it because I'm a naturalist by default. You know, maybe I'm not a master because I'm not out there commanding anyone's attention with a title and some kind of a significant symbol that says, you know, this guy, that guy's wearing a suit, you know, so since they're wearing a suit, they must be able to say the proper things, and they must be able to get paid at a way where they can, you know, dine with all of these other people in these fancy locations to talk about this stuff. I'm talking about this stuff right here with you as it happens in the real world, which is where the real money is at. So if you're not making real money, then you might want to consider doing your real passion, following your real passion, and also don't forget to express your compassion along the way. Compassion has the word passion in it. I wonder if that's a coincidence. Anyway, till next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.